So we're back with a brand new Walkin and Talkin with Tim. And my guest today is my good friend, and I can say that today, for real, is my friend Jeff Harris from JMJB, right?
You got it.
Merchant Solutions. I always get the initials mixed up once in a while. But that's it, JMJB Merchant Solutions. And I'm gonna let Jeff first tell you exactly what that means.
So JMJB, first off, Tim, it's great to be here, my friend.
Exactly.
Had a nice day of Tim Jennings, and we're about to come up on mile 2. So anyone that's been on here that says that they're walking first is true.
True story.
100%. So JMJB Merchant Solutions, we do credit card processing. So businesses need to accept credit cards as a form of payment for whatever good or service they're putting out into the marketplace. And I am a company that enables them to do so. And I do so by brokering 9 different credit card processing options.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but you know what? Businesses deserve options.
Choices.
We deserve choices, we deserve options, and that's what we're here to provide. I hope that answers your question.
It absolutely answered my question. So, secondly, and this is actually kind of interesting because Jeff and I met during COVID. You know, obviously a lot of virtual stuff going on. So we both joined the same group, the Harvest Group. So shout out to Devin, right? Devin Denofa.
Devin.
Giddy up, brother. So, and all of our Harvest crew. So we met through there. And since then, Jeff and I have become actually really good friends. And we get along quite well, actually. So I know lots of interesting little tidbits about Jeff, but the one thing I wanted to bring up first was how did you adjust? How did you particularly adjust during COVID, and then now that you're coming out of it, how does that feel? Like, how is that working out for you?
So that's a loaded question.
I know it is.
And we have a really long stretch here, so
Yes,
it looks
we
like we're
do.
gonna have ample time to answer it. So COVID was a weird time. I'd always been out going cold calling and pulling doors and introducing myself to businesses that way, which when the world goes on lockdown, people don't really want to hear about credit card processing options. They want to know, like, is my business going to be around tomorrow? So early on in COVID, it was finding people to surround myself with that could support my clients, support my friends, support my network. And that was a really big part of it. So I spent a lot of time just building relationships and meeting people and coming across like the Tim Jennings of the world and the Devin Denofas of the world and quite a few other folks that you're going to find in a variety of communities that we're part of. That's the first thing. Now that I don't want to say we're coming out of COVID, but now that this is more so normalized, it's back out there and doing business development from that standpoint and continuing to keep top of mind the folks that were so helpful for me as I got my business launched and up and running at the beginning part of the pandemic. So I hope that answered it, but
so loyalty is really what it...
Loyalty and, you know, those people that were there at the beginning that are still there, that's a character thing. And
Ones you can trust.
Yeah, and it, you know, I don't want to sit here and be sold, but I do want to sit here and build relationships with people, develop relationships, and the folks that I know, like, and trust are the ones that I'll do business with, and we'll find ways to refer business to.
So on the topic of Harvest and the Harvest community, I know that you've done a couple of videos for Devin that talks about how it's changed you, but throughout it, both of us did 75 Hard.
Yep.
Just so
we're clear right here.
So we
Has anyone ever flashed someone on Walkin Talkin?
I don't think so. I think you're the first one to be
happy to take
there
that
you
title.
Go. You gotta get your beads later. So, so listen. How do you think, not just being part of the Harvest community, but the Harvest community is what led us both to 75 Hard, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel now that you've completed? Not only did you find 75 Hard, but you've completed it, right? And you're on like phase 2 now, right?
Yeah, so phase 3 is going to start for me, and I'm debating this because I was talking about this with Fernando. He and I are both getting up to phase 3, and we're deciding if we decided that we're going to do it at the beginning of the year, but now I'm thinking about doing another 75 Hard round before phase 3. I don't know yet.
But how do you feel?
I feel fantastic. But like we talked about, and I think you were the one that brought this up when I think we were right in the midst of 75 Hard, how like the whole concept of 75 Hard is that there's this guy, Andy Frisella, and obviously Devin with the Harvest, who were kind of like the wizard behind the curtain, right? Like this grit and mentality, like this was here and inside of us this whole time.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you just need an exercise like that, or a 75 days worth of exercises like that, to have that removed and uncovered. And like, it's the wizard behind the curtain that makes you realize that you've had it there your whole time. And now that we're on the other side of it, I've completed, I've done it, and doing other things within that Live Hard program, it's almost just like remembering where that is inside of me if I ever find myself faltering.
Now you have new mental muscle memory.
Correct.
That's what it comes down to.
100%.
Because when I finished, I told you flat out, the last day I felt just bulletproof, just like you couldn't hurt me, like it's just, I felt so amazing. It was beyond, anything else I've ever accomplished.
100%. And it's incredible, because now that you've felt that way and you've accomplished that, you know what that feeling is.
You crave it.
And you crave it, but you know what you need to do to get it back.
I knew where you were going.
Right? And once you know what you need to do to get it back, when you're feeling bad about yourself, or you're having a bad day, or you get a bunch of no's, whatever it is, go get that feeling back, because you've gotten there, you know how to get it. So go do it and go get it. And that's been a really cool part and a really cool thing that's come from this whole thing, is being able to recall.
So I bet you didn't know that Jeff was on the tennis team. And Jeff told me while we were walking around that he used to do sprints, and so much so, right, that,
I don't know what he's talking about. This is completely fabricated.
I'm pretty sure you said you did sprints, and that was the one thing you had a tough time keeping up with back then, right?
Yeah, so it was high school, and the story actually
There's a trash can right here.
Just watch out for the trash cans, and now all these cars.
No, you're fine.
The story actually was that we used to have to do sprints in pairs of 2 up the hill of our high school. Yeah. And there were only 14 kids on the team, and it was a sizable hill, and if at any point there were no more kids to do sprints, we had to continue going, which meant that we were doing sprints up a hill for a nice period of time. And because of that, threw up. I mean, a lot of us did, right? Just from going that hard. And anyone,
circle of you, I could just picture the circle.
It was a wonderful picture of a bunch of high school kids just sitting there doing that. But we talked about doing sprints before our walk and talk today. I just didn't. I think we mutually agreed it wouldn't have been appropriate to put that on camera. So I
don't think anybody wants to see that.
Yeah, so we decided to do a walk instead.
Yeah, exactly right.
But yeah, I love playing tennis. It's a hobby of mine, and if anyone plays or wants to play, be more than happy to run around.
And clearly, your second best hobby is watching your kids play sports, right?
Coaching them.
Not just watching, coaching. That's a big deal.
Not just watching them. So. When we join the Harvest, one of the things you have to say is what your superpower is. And a lot of people are like, I'm great at connecting and networking and selling. My superpower is coaching youth sports. And the reason why I share that is because there's really no greater feeling than watching a child achieve something they were previously unable to achieve, and seeing the glow and the happiness and the excitement in their eye when they are able to accomplish that. And it's one of the most rewarding things that you can do, at least in my opinion.
I've done it. I'm with you.
So I love doing that. There's going to be a point in time, probably in the near future, where I'm not going to be able to add much value from a skill set standpoint for the boys.
They'll just be clapping.
Correct. So until that time, I'm going to be out there with them, and I absolutely, I wouldn't trade it. I love it.
Giddy up.
Yep.
So if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
You can just text Tim. Tim will reach out to me. No, anyone who wants to get a hold of me, all the social media channels, you can find me on Facebook, Jeff Harris, Instagram, LinkedIn, JMJB Payments. You can email me, jh@jmjbmerchantsolutions.com. But really, social is typically the best way to get connected and to build a relationship and learn more about one another.
Reach out and connect.
Yeah, man.
Giddy up. Well, listen, thanks for being on today.
My pleasure.
I
Thanks
appreciate it. Finally, this guy, we talk all the time, but we've only been together in what, a couple of times?
Handful of times. Not nearly enough.
That's crazy, right?
You live all the way in a different state. That's why. Might as well be a different country.
Well, listen, you guys, thanks for watching. Keep on moving. Keep on walking. And we'll see you next time on Walkin' and Talkin' with Tim. Peace out.